Welcome to the very first episode of Spiritually Healing. My name is Mia, and this podcast is all about exploring the journey of spiritual awakenings, healing, signs, synchronicities, God, the universe, and our purpose. If you ever felt like something inside of you was shifting, like you were waking up to more than just the everyday world, then this space is for you. The reason I started spiritually healing is because I recognize that healing can take place physically, yes, mentally, yes, emotionally, yes. But when it comes to the actual spirit within us, our spiritual journey, that takes a lot of self reflection. And I mean, there's a lot of beliefs that have to be washed away that do not serve the highest good of all of us and this whole world. So, for spiritually healing, and the fun backstory behind that as well is originally when I was writing a lot of poetry throughout my healing journey, right? Because journaling is like one of those beautiful ways to heal yourself, to just write out your thoughts, write out how you're feeling, even manifest, right? Manifest your ideal life, your dreams, your goals. But I was writing out, and I still am actually, but that is to be announced in probably 2026, right? A poetry book called Poetically Healing. And my poems embody the basis of our spiritual elements, right? And I'll say this much: when it comes to chakra healing, it's embedded in that type of poetry, right? However, I decided what's right next to poetically healing. It felt like spiritual healing was right next to that because it helped me recognize my own soul. It helped me recognize who I am on a soul level, everything that I embody as a spirit here, having a human experience, of course. Spiritually Healing is one of those podcasts that will explore the spiritual awakening journey in phases, of course. So, phase one would be our awakening in awareness. Phase two is healing and inner growth. Phase three is God, universe, and faith. Phase four is purpose and transformation. In phase five, love and relationships. I recommend you guys finding a nice space in your home, a safe space, of course, something that's very comfortable, because I will be doing some sound bath behind all of the conversation topics that I'm going to touch base on in this podcast. So make sure you get your tea, get your water, maybe even get a snack, right? And definitely get your journal. Maybe there's something in here that you would love to take notes on. So I really hope you guys enjoy this episode 1. Today's episode, we will be talking about the first signs of a spiritual awakening. So, to start us off, the biggest question is, what is a spiritual awakening? Well, a spiritual awakening is a shift in awareness where life starts to feel different. Many people will describe this as waking up from autopilot, in a sense, or just being woke. When it comes to a spiritual awakening, that's where you kind of step out of a 3D box, right? A third dimensional box that was placed around you from seeing the world in, I'd say, a different color. When you have your spiritual awakening, things can seem a bit more vibrant. You can have a sense of heightened sensitivity to people, environments, emotions. You start to see how you have treated yourself. You start to see how others have treated you. You start to recognize the energetic shifts that, you feel when you walk in a room. You can feel energetic shifts when someone says a particular sentence that can then just change the whole dynamic and flow of that entire mood in that room or in that conversation. You'll start to notice repeating numbers or synchronicities. So, if you've ever seen 111, 444, 777, 222-333, you're not crazy. That's just the universe's way of speaking to you and letting you know that, first and foremost, you are divinely protected and you are divinely guided towards your purpose, towards your goals, and towards everything that makes you, you. Other signs of spiritual awareness is feeling disconnected from old habits, routines, and relationships. The things you used to do in the past, they really just don't fulfill you like they once did. The people you used to be around, you just kind of don't align with your views and how you portray yourselves. And relationships, they can start to feel a bit transactional. It can get a bit rocky. It can feel very surface level, as if you've just been maintaining that connection just because it felt familiar, just because it was a comfort. Same thing with habits. Same thing with routines. And another sign that you'll notice is questioning the deeper meaning in life. Like, why am I here? What is my purpose? Other thoughts can be, will I ever accomplish this dream that I have? All of these signs and all of these sensitivities that you start to experience when you first awaken, they're here to shift you. They're here to show you that life is much more than you see it to be. And it really does beg the question of, where does your faith lie? Where do your beliefs lie? Can you truly believe everything you're seeing? Are you going to trust your intuition? Intuition is a major part of your spiritual awakening, because that intuition is going to give you those nudges. It'll feel like an uncomfortable pit in your stomach when you walk into a room with certain individuals that you know you just don't vibe well with. You maybe don't mesh well with them, whatever the reason may be, and that's completely fine. Not everyone is compatible. However, that intuition will always be there. And if you've truly been blessed with that gift, you can even, I'd say, in a sense, guesstimate or predict what could possibly happen within that scenario of being around certain individuals or with certain situations, being in certain environments. These signs can feel a bit exciting, but also confusing. And it can be a bit lonely when you are going through a spiritual awakening. It's exciting because it's like you've just woken up to a fresh perspective of yourself, right? Spirituality, by definition, is seeking wholeness with God, and that's within. Everything you need is within, and you'll never be without once you seek God within yourself. You have to look inward in order to change your outward surroundings. So, when it comes to spiritual awakenings, it's exciting in the fact that you start to know yourself better than others believe they know you. You start to see yourself in the vision that God has envisioned you to be. However, the confusing aspect of it can be when you start to recognize friends, family, lovers, environments, jobs no longer align with you. They no longer fulfill you. They no longer satisfy you. It feels like something is missing. Maybe there's a part of you that feels misunderstood, unseen, unheard. Maybe even wake up to how you have been treated in certain dynamics, in certain environments, in certain workplaces. And the lonely aspect of it can be that maybe you feel as if you have no one to speak to about this, because if you were to reveal it to those that you've been feeling that rift between, maybe they wouldn't get it. The lonely feeling is when you do have to go within yourself and sort through what it is you want to do now that you've awakened to who you are and you've awakened to your heart. These feelings are very much normal. These feelings, almost anyone who ever had a spiritual awakening, they have experienced these feelings, these emotions. I know I have. And when it comes to these emotions, I think it's really important to honor yourself and hold space for your feelings, because people will try to write you off as crazy, but you're not crazy. You're just very in tune with who you are in that moment. You recognize that something does not feel right. Typically, people who haven't awakened to who they are, they don't like to go against the grain. They don't think outside the box too much because they would fear criticism. And when you aren't awakened to who you are, when you aren't awakened to the God within you, to God, period, to the universe, you will always seek validation outwardly rather than going within for that validation. The spiritual awakening, it could start off in such a way where you start to recognize that there may be some hidden secrets that people know of but they haven't spoken about. And when you go down your journey, and we'll touch more on that in different episodes, but when you go down that journey, you start to recognize that there's a lot of things that have been a lie, a lot of structures, a lot of systems. They've been a lie, and they've been a lie to keep us trapped in our mind, keep us trapped in a certain routine that does not fit the circadian rhythm of a spirit having a human experience. So, some words of encouragement and guidance. Trust what you're feeling, because, once again, you're not crazy. In fact, I think it's crazy to not be in tune with yourself. I think it's very crazy to not look within yourself and build that beautiful space, that beautiful garden in your heart, that beautiful garden within your body to hold your godlike presence, your consciousness, and its elevation. Because when you spiritually awaken, you expand. It's an expansion that it's the most uncomfortable, but it's the most comforting expansion you can have, because you're coming back home. And if there's ever a time where you are feeling lonely, you are feeling misunderstood, I recommend journaling. Meditation, of course. I absolutely love meditation. For those who know me outside of this podcast, and also just check out my YouTube page. Check out, I have 2 YouTubes. So I have Mia Rosilia, which is mainly lifestyle, vlogging, music, and sometimes I have some nice motivational messages, collective messages, and even a bit of some dancing skits. You'll definitely see me singing on there though. And then I have my second YouTube, which is Vibes for Life Oracle. There I do a lot of my sound healing sessions on there. Like, you'll find different shorts and full long-sized videos, as well as tarot and oracle reads and collective readings, channeled messages, all that good stuff, right? That's just another side. I like to separate it because not everyone wants to always see tarot or oracles, and that's completely fine. And not everyone always wants to mix music with their tarot, right? No one wants to mix tarot with their music. No one wants to mix music with their tarot. I mean, me personally, I'd love to mix them both, and like, we're having a whole kumbaya in this, you feel me? But regardless, I'm a sound healer certified by Life Changing Energy, and sound healing meditation has helped me along my spiritual journey, especially when it came to some really deep um, deep dark healing parts, but also there was like major mountains to cross, right? When it came to releasing. And we'll touch more on that in a different episode. However, sound healing meditation has helped me to really focus in on my meditation at the time, focus in on being present, and it's really helped me to build a peaceful space within myself that can't be moved, can't be shaked. Even the major inconvenience can't move me. Of course, I'll drop a couple of F bombs because, I mean, it be like that, right? But sound healing has really helped me with my communication and my anxiety. If you guys ever want a sound healing experience with me, feel free to send me a message, comment on one of my videos, or you can email me at miarivera-reed at vibes4life.com, or you can message my business line at 929-909-3264. I'm definitely open to anyone who wants to explore what music therapy has to offer. And another thing that can help with your spiritual awakening and your spiritual journey, period, is prayer. Prayer can really help make sense of all of the changes. Don't be afraid to check the Bible out. Don't be afraid to open that Bible. Don't be afraid to talk to God. Don't be afraid to go within, because prayer is the outgoing message. And when you meditate, that's where you sit to receive. So it's really a practice of giving and receiving. And lastly, it's really important that you surround yourself with uplifting content and community. Make sure you're surrounding yourself around the right people who understand what it means to be awakened, but also hold space for your growth, because you're going to continuously grow throughout your spiritual journey, right? And once again, spirituality by definition is finding the wholeness with God, right? So, to wrap this all up, I really just want to touch the key points, right? Once again, spiritual awakening, it's just a shift in your awareness that feels very different. And when it feels different, it's because you're seeing yourself different. It's because you are different, and that's okay. That's actually very beautiful when you do step out of your shell and you do start to see yourself in a light that you should see yourself in, right? That's the light of love. That's the frequency of love, because God is love. And when you start to notice your awakening, you will feel heightened sensitivities. You will feel heightened emotions. You will start to notice that you've shifted out of certain environments, right? Maybe connections have shifted, and workplaces no longer feel the same. But that is okay, because even with those feelings of confusion, even those feelings of, sometimes they could even show up as worriedness, right? Would you actually be okay being in a different environment and energy? Or is it safer to stay in the same place? And I'll answer this question right now. It is better for you to go outside of the box, outside of your comfort zone, to really see what the world is about and how it will hold you when you're ready to take that leap. And lastly, once again, but not leastly, make sure you recognize that your awakening is just you recognizing your truth. You are not crazy. God is leading the way for your life, and no one can tell you any different. Now, I would like you guys to reflect on what signs you have noticed in your own life that might point to a spiritual awakening. And before we get into the closing of this, I have a jar filled with a bunch of messages that I've written down maybe 2 years ago, and I just put them in a mason jar. So I want to get you guys your message from this jar, and I also have a starseed oracle card that I'd love to pull for you guys, and also a Bible verse for you guys. So let's start with the Bible verse. The verse of the day and the verse for this session: Ephesians 2:18. For through him we both have access to the Father by one Spirit. Of course, in the Bible, that Spirit is the Holy Spirit. Now, for your message, and guys, this might get a bit loud, so I recommend lowering your headphones. I got rose quartz crystals inside this jar, so definitely heart chakra worthy. Let's get this message. All of our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them. That's actually a beautiful message. And let's get us a starseed oracle, guys. Really want to know, what do we need to know today? What is today's oracle message? Starseed oracle message. By the way, guys, thank you so much for listening thus far. If you liked what you heard and you want to hear more, please like the video, share the video, comment, drop a couple of stars in the comments as well. But comment how you feel about spiritual awakenings. And I'd also love to know, what signs have you noticed in your own life that might point to a spiritual awakening, right? Now, in the next episode, we will be talking about the dark night of the soul. Right? As we walk through the valley of shadows, we can't fear any of that darkness. We have to recognize that there's always going to be a hill that we could stand on to call in for support. But with the dark night of the soul, that shadow work is something different, guys. Something way different. Alright, let's get our oracle card. What is our starseed oracle card? Ooh, she's beautiful. Yes, okay. The starseed oracle card today is star bathing, light body, crystal grid, transmission, activation. That's absolutely beautiful. I'm going to read this card, guys, because I feel like I want to give you the whole shebang of it. On the picture, and you could also Google this, right? You could Google starseed oracle card star bathing. Let's see. The stars are constantly showering emanations onto the crystalline grid of the earth. When things are in balance, the planet also sends information back up to the stars. Many starseeds have come to Earth at this time to help shift the planet vibrationally, to activate the ancient codes of wisdom that humanity has forgotten. And all of that information is stored in a crystalline grid. If you pull this card, you may be being called to begin working with the stars in the crystalline grid of the earth. Some people believe that the crystalline grid of the earth anchors divine cosmic frequencies onto the planet. You may be guided to journey to particular places on earth to unlock these cosmic codes with your presence. You may also be interested in a practice called star bathing. Download a star bathing meditation at www.starseedoracle.me. This card commonly arises because you're here to connect with the crystalline grid of the earth, either in your hometown or by traveling to other places without quite knowing why. It also can mean that your light body, the energy body in its highest form, is being activated. If this resonates, take things extra slow in order to integrate this change of vibration. Here's the starseed activation, y'all. So I want you guys to place your hand on your heart and whisper the following. I open myself up to receiving the wisdom of the crystalline grid beneath me. May the stars and the earth inform and heal me. And as they do, may it heal the earth too. Wow. The numbers 104, 105 can be significant. And the numbers 5 and 6 can be very significant. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you made it this far, please hit that like, subscribe, follow me, send this to somebody you feel would enjoy this podcast. And guys, if you would love some more of this, please let me know in the comments how you feel about this. How do you feel about spiritual awakenings? And what do you look forward to hearing in the Dark Night of the Soul episode 2? Alright, guys, I'm going to close it out with some sound bowls. And it's been a pleasure.